I asked my wife for a paternity test on our unborn baby. Ever since that conversation, she's gone through denial, anger, tears, and silence. Now I'm wondering if I uncovered something much bigger than I ever expected. Hello Reddit I plus here. I honestly don't know if I'm blowing up my own life because of paranoia, or if my instincts are trying to save me from the biggest mistake I'll ever make. I'm a 35-year-old man. My wife is 33. We've been together for 11 years and married for almost 3. We spent years building our careers before trying for a baby because we wanted everything to be stable first. We planned this pregnancy together. We celebrated when the test came back positive. I cried the day she told me. I thought I was finally getting everything I'd worked for. Now I don't even know if I'll still have a marriage by the time this child is born. It started with something so small that I almost feel ridiculous writing it. Her first prenatal appointment happened while I was covering for another manager at work. We had talked about it beforehand. She insisted I shouldn't lose an entire day's pay over a quick ultrasound and said she'd rather I save my time off for the 20-week anatomy scan. It sounded reasonable. She came home smiling with the ultrasound photo, and we spent the evening talking about baby names. A few days later, something strange happened. We accidentally left for work with each other's phones. She had already driven halfway across town before either of us noticed. I figured I'd just use her phone if anyone called. While I was making coffee, a message notification popped up. Normally, I never snoop. Ever. But the preview caught my attention. It read, "Still can't stop looking at the little peanut." It wasn't from her mother, it wasn't from her sister, it wasn't from any family member, it was from a man named Ryan. Curious, I opened the conversation. The very first thing I saw was the ultrasound picture, except she hadn't sent it to me first. She had sent it to him almost an hour before I ever received it. That stung more than I expected. Maybe it shouldn't have. But I thought I'd be the first person she shared something that important with. Instead, I was apparently second, maybe even third. I kept scrolling, nothing obviously romantic, mostly jokes, memes, random conversations. Still, there were hundreds of messages, way more than I'd ever imagined. When she got home, I didn't mention it. I convinced myself I was being insecure. I wanted to trust my wife. I told myself there had to be a perfectly innocent explanation. For about 2 weeks, I actually believed that. Then everything got worse. She accidentally left her phone at home again. She was halfway to work before realizing it. About 30 minutes later, her phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. The man on the other end immediately froze. Then he hung up. 10 seconds later, a text arrived. "Everything okay? Why did your husband answer?" That immediately caught my attention. I opened the conversation, except it wasn't an unknown person. The contact name had been changed. It was the exact same phone number belonging to Ryan. Only now his name had been changed to Sandra. My stomach dropped. Who changes a man's contact into a woman's name? Someone hiding something. That's who. I kept reading. Again. Nothing sexual. Nothing explicit, but there were messages almost every single day. Then I found something that made my chest tighten. He had driven her to both ultrasound appointments, every single one. She had specifically told me she went alone. She lied. Not only had she lied, she had sent him every ultrasound picture before me, again. The newest messages were even stranger. Ryan, your husband answering scared the hell out of me. Her, I know. I thought I deleted everything. Ryan, I'm not doing this anymore. Her, please calm down. At that point, my hands were shaking. When she got home, I asked one simple question. Who is Ryan? She immediately asked why I was going through her phone. Not who he was, not why she lied, not why she'd changed his contact name. She skipped straight to being angry at me. She said I'd violated her privacy. I said she had lied to my face. She refused to answer anything. For 2 days, we barely spoke. I couldn't sleep. Every possible scenario kept running through my head. Finally, I told her exactly where I stood. I want a DNA test after the baby is born. Her face completely changed. It wasn't sadness, it wasn't disappointment, it was rage. If you think I cheated, then you can pack your bags. I stayed calm. I didn't say I'm leaving. I said I need certainty. She pointed at the front door. I will never agree to that, I replied quietly. Then I'll request one through the court if I have to. That started the biggest fight we've ever had. For almost a week, she barely acknowledged I existed. Then one night, she suddenly softened. She cried. She apologized for lying. She admitted Ryan had driven her to the appointments because she didn't like going alone. She claimed she hid it because she knew I'd feel uncomfortable about another man being there. I asked the obvious question. If that's all it was, why change his name? She stared at the floor. I panicked. That answer made even less sense. Then she asked if we could meet somewhere neutral and talk everything through. I agreed. When I got there, Ryan was sitting beside her. Apparently, she thought introducing us would solve everything. He looked like he wanted the ground to swallow him. He barely made eye contact. He kept apologizing for causing problems. After 5 awkward minutes, he left. My wife smiled nervously. There, now you've met him. Can we move on? I looked her directly in the eyes. I still want the DNA test. She burst into tears. She kept repeating the same sentence. I would never betray you, I answered honestly. I hope that's true. She grabbed my hands. This baby is yours. I hope you're right. She cried even harder. For the next several weeks, she begged me almost daily to change my mind. She kept saying the DNA test would destroy our marriage, that it proved I didn't trust her, that no loving husband would ask for one. Maybe she's right. Maybe I crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. But here's what I can't ignore. She lied about going alone. She hit another man. She changed his name in her phone. She shared every ultrasound with him before she shared them with me. She panicked because I answered her phone. She admitted deleting things. And somehow, I'm supposed to pretend none of that happened. Last week, she finally agreed. She said she'd sign whatever paperwork was necessary once the baby arrives. Then she quietly added something that has been replaying in my head ever since. I'll do the DNA test, but don't expect there to still be a marriage afterward. That sentence has haunted me because maybe she's right. If the baby isn't mine, then the marriage obviously ends. But if the baby is mine, I'm not sure we survive anyway. Even if she never slept with him, the lies, secrecy, hidden messages, fake contact name, and emotional closeness have destroyed something that may never come back. Part of me feels guilty for asking. Another part feels guilty for almost talking myself out of asking. At this point, I don't even know which outcome scares me more, finding out I'm not the father, or finding out I am, and realizing the trust between us died long before this child was ever born.